Well, big news today in healthcare as the full Senate gets ready to gear up for its first vote on healthcare reform. That's going to happen tomorrow night over the course of several hours, we're told. Here's some very interesting brand new Fox News polls to show you. 37% of Americans think they would be worse off under this proposed legislation. That's tied with the number of people who think it will make no difference, interestingly, to them. Now, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid needs the support of every member of his caucus. He cannot lose anybody. He needs 60 votes to get this bill to the floor for debate. That's what they're voting on here, just to remind you. If this passage would mean that they will bring it to the floor to talk about. Now, some political analysts out there say that this bill, this health care bill, could wind up making or breaking the Majority Leader's own political future. Take a look at the latest polls from the Mason-Dixon polls in October. These are the most recent good polls that are out there, showing Senator Reid is trailing his GOP challenger for re-election in Nevada by 5%. So he's got a tough race at home. Let's bring in our panel. Bill Kristol is the editor of the Weekly Standard and a Fox News contributor. Peter Marion is a former advisor to both the Clinton-Gore campaigns and the Gore-Lieberman campaign. Welcome, gentlemen. Always great to have both of you with us. Peter, because we're talking about Harry Reid's career, do you agree with that? Do you think if he doesn't pass this bill, he could not be reelected?
Well, no question this is a big vote for Harry Reid, and he spent a lot of time and energy and expended a lot of political capital on this, so certainly a lot is on the line for him. I think that, he's had some good news recently with Landrieu and Nelson, coming forward and saying that they would support this. So it'll be a close vote on Saturday, but no question this is a big vote for Harry Reid.
Yeah, since you brought up Mary Landrieu, I want to ask a quick question. Let me put this to Bill first. There's some reports out there today questioning the fact that Mary Landrieu, Louisiana, gets $100 million out of this bill that goes to Louisiana specifically, and the language is fairly broad. But, what's your take on why that money came through for Louisiana right now, Bill?
Well, obviously, because Mary Landrieu is a key vote for Senator Reid. He's going to get the 60 votes he needs tomorrow night, in my judgment, to get cloture to move on to the bill. I believe he is currently short of the 60 votes he needs to actually get cloture to end debate on the bill, which he'll try to do before Christmas, and then pass it. So I actually think Harry Reid will be better off politically if this bill fails. If he makes a good faith effort, he can tell liberals, I did my best. Lieberman and Landrieu and Nelson at the end of the day on December 21st or 2nd won't vote for cloture. Then it collapses. Then he can pass some smaller health care legislation in a bipartisan way next year and go to the voters of Nevada and say, we ended up doing some good things. If this bill passes, heaping tax increases on an economy with 10.2% unemployment rate, and Nevada is really hurting, I think if this bill passes, actually, it's worse for Harry Reid.
Yeah, it's fascinating, Peter. I'm just like holding up. This is section 2006 of the 2074-page bill, and this is the language in here apparently that would allow Louisiana to get this money in this clincher moment. The language, when you try to read through some of this stuff, section 1905 in subsection in the first sentence by striking subsection Y and inserting subsections Y and AA, and it goes on like that. But apparently it means a nice piece of money for Louisiana. Do you read into that at all, Peter Marion?
Well, I know Bill's a student of history, Martha, and you are as well. I mean, you read Robert Caro's book, Master of the Senate, you look at Lyndon Johnson and the deals that he had to cut to pass legislation. That's what you do. That's the definition of politics, is the art of compromise, and that's what Harry Reid has to do to get this legislation forward, and you have to do things to work with other members of your caucus that have concerns one way or the other on the bill.
All right, so he's working hard with a lot of people. Let's pull up pictures of Senator Lieberman, Senators Snowe and Collins. Bill, talk to me a little. There's two main issues here that a number of these people whose pictures we're going to show you are struggling with, and one is the public option, and the other one is the issue of abortion. Now, these are the folks that Harry Reid's going to be working very hard to pull over. What do you think about those three, Bill?
I think they vote Saturday night as a courtesy to their leader, the majority leader, to let the bill come to the floor, and as a courtesy to the president. And then I think a couple of them at least do not vote for cloture in the week before Christmas because they have objections to the bill. But the biggest thing that's going to happen is not going to be based on 1 or 2 votes, I suspect. Will the bill continue to lose momentum over the next 3 or 4 weeks or not? That's the big question. It's right now unpopular, but the Democrats might think, they can live with kind of 40 to 50 break and muscle it through, and they'll get some credit for passing something. I think think if the jobless number in the first week of December is bad, if it's higher than 10.2%, just the notion that you're passing tax increases in this economy, I think by itself that might cause 7 or 8 or 10 moderate Democrats to say, you know what are we doing? I mean, and let's just let it fail. That doesn't mean health care fails for the whole session of Congress. There's plenty of stuff that Republicans are for doing, smaller things in 2010. I think that's the most likely scenario.
Yeah, Peter, Bill raises a very good point here. One of the questions is not whether or not people in this country want to address some form of health care reform, but whether they think it should be the front burner issue right now and whether or not they're willing to see the huge tax increases that would fall on a lot of Americans to pay for this bill, which Harry Reid's been very upfront about.
Well, look, I mean, Bill's been very magnanimous about what he thinks the Democrats should do. The bottom line is that the Democratic constituency, and you can look at a variety of different polls that says the Americans do believe there should be a public option. You just, whatever poll you pick, you can make your own argument, and that there should be something done about health care reform. So I think there's been too much at stake, too much political capital put into play here by both the administration and by Democrats not to get something done. And then once they get this done, of course, attention will turn to jobs and the unemployment figures and the other challenges the country faces. So I'm of the mind that the Democrats are in power. They need to show that they got something done, and something big like this, something that hasn't been done in 30 years, is a big, big win. All
right. Well, we'll see if you're both right, which would mean that the bill would actually get to debate on the floor, as you put it, Bill, to be a courtesy, to the Senate Majority Leader. But then the going could get pretty rough. Gentlemen, it's always good to have both of you with us. Bill Kristol, thank you very much for joining us today. Peter Marion, thank you very much. See you soon.